Good morning. Happy Thursday. You made it past hump day. Congratulations. For those of you with two brain cells to connect with the synapse, you may understand that the video that I made yesterday responding to Earl was a video responding to Earl, and I wasn't responding to Otto. I didn't watch Otto's video. I watched Earl's video. I was responding to Earl's critiques against the police in Otto's video. And yet somehow I managed to gather a group of cretins who couldn't understand that. And they thought I was taking the cop's side against Otto. And they thought that I was condemning Otto. And he was only camping. Oh my God. If somebody could please just explain that he was only camping to me one more time, that would be great. But see, here is what the cretins didn't get. Here's what they don't understand. Things exist even when you don't see them. Babies have to learn this. You ever play peekaboo with a baby? You get surprised every time. Oh my God, you were gone and now you're here again. It's amazing. It's magic. No, they don't understand that things exist even when the baby can't see them. Most people grow out of that stage pretty early. Don't know exactly when, but generally by the age of 2, people aren't playing peekaboo with their babies anymore. And yet, people assume that because the camera started rolling at this time, and at this time, there was no crime being apparently committed, that there must have been no crime committed. This isn't Hollywood. Otto exists right now. As I'm making this video, I don't know if he's streaming or not, but he exists right now. When you're asleep at night, Otto exists. As a thinking, functioning human being, he is doing things. He may only be sleeping. He may be jerking off. He may be abusing his kids. You don't know. Neither do I. When the cops showed up there, apparently, according to Otto, so take this with whatever grain of salt you feel important, a group of people on quad bikes had reported that Otto was either abandoning or neglecting his kids. And now there is a statute to that. So before you think, well, he didn't abandon them, he was there. Well, he didn't neglect them because, I don't know, reasons. Read the fucking statute. Just him taking certain drugs in their presence or having certain drugs in their presence can constitute neglect. If he exposes them to a risk of harm, to either physically or mental harm, that's neglect. And I'm not saying that he did that. I'm saying he has a history with CPS. Boy, they're looking at him. When there's smoke, generally speaking, hashtag not all, there's fire. But the cops didn't come up and pull Otto out of his vehicle because he was camping. They pulled him out because they believed, based on reports, that he was abandoning or neglecting the children. So yes, they did it in front of the kids because their primary goal was to protect the kids, get the guy who's abusing them away from them, then figure it out instead of waiting for some, Otto, right? And you can't believe that Otto would ever hurt those kids, although there is some dispute as to whether or not him taking them on audits and exposing them to the things that he exposes them to is detrimental. I am not opining on that at this point. But you think you know Otto, and you think Otto wouldn't do anything terrible, and you don't think Otto's carrying any weapons. You don't think Otto would hurt the kids, but the cop doesn't know Otto. The cop thinks he's responding to somebody who is abandoning or neglecting minor children, very small kids. What are they, like? I don't know. I don't watch his videos. I'm going to guess like 10? I mean, these aren't teenagers. They don't appear to be teenagers. I mean, they might be, I don't know. Anyway, do you get my point? So, oh, these cops are terrible people, unless you look at it from the cop's perspective. I got a call, a guy abusing kids. I rolled out, I separated the suspect from the children, so he could no longer harm them. He couldn't use them as hostages, as human shields. Because if someone is going to neglect kids, you can be, I don't know if you can be sure, but I mean, there is a distinct possibility they'd use that kid as a human shield or a hostage. So from the cop's point of view, responding to a call, I separated the suspect from the children that he is reportedly abusing, and I took him down to the station for processing. And I did it without hurting anybody. From the cop's point of view, I bet that's a win. Anyway, let me think some more on this because I had other stuff. Okay, I have remembered, I think. So beyond Otto, the other criticism that I got was based on the Pulliam. Oh, Pulliam must have caused the story, or must have caused the charge because of his story. I don't think Pulliam has that kind of audience that anybody really cares about what Pulliam does as a story. Alex Jones has done stories, and Alex Jones has a much bigger audience, and it doesn't seem like anybody cares what Alex Jones does. People are trying to draw their own conclusions. And when I said that the DA and the police are separate, it was pointed out to me by Geo George that I also said they work together, and they do. That doesn't mean anything. And as I pointed out to Geo George, there are DAs arrested by cops, and there are cops charged by DAs. And he said, oh, what world do you live on, Venus? Because he's a fucking retard, and he didn't take 2 seconds to Google search. 10 seconds of Google searching, first for DA arrested and second for officer charged, resulted on the news tab of Google in 2 news stories, each a day old. One of an officer being charged in Tennessee for assault, and the other with a prosecutor being arrested in, I think, Arkansas for DUI. Now, if Geo George had been rational and not completely drowned in his biases and prejudice, had he said, well, you know, there is some discretion in the DA in who to charge, and there is some discretion in officers whom they arrest. Each has some discretion that they can exercise within the bounds of the law. And each, knowing the other person and perhaps liking the other person, may exercise that discretion, and that may reduce the incidences of arrests or charges on DAs or cops. I would have said, yeah, that's probably a fair statement. And that mirrors exactly what I said about being an asshole when SGV News was an asshole to the cops. Carolina's like, oh, we're just showing people that they could be assholes. And I said, it doesn't get you anywhere because cops have discretion. Cops have discretion. And if it's a wobbler, if it can go either way, if they can arrest you or not arrest you, if you're a cool guy or gal, and the cops think, man, it's just probably a one-off. I mean, this guy probably isn't a complete nutter asshole, then cops are more likely to not charge you. If you're a complete nutter asshole, the cops are more likely to charge you on wobbler cases. But on just the flat out cases, then no, those tend to get arrests and charges because there isn't really a good way for the officers to not. And if it comes out that they didn't, or if the DA doesn't charge on clear cases, then they can be exposed to greater liability, criminal or civil or administrative, especially because like the feds will get involved. But anyway, that was my point. Now I've seen Otto's rights get violated. I took a few minutes to peruse things, and someone had posted a video, I think that morning, of a dash cam video of Otto standing on the street corner holding a sign. The cop was dispatched to him. Cop thought his conduct was disorderly and arrested him for disorderly conduct. That's obviously not a valid arrest. Does that make me pro-Otto? No. Does that make me anti-Otto? No. Otto can be a bad person and have his rights violated. I've had that position for a long time too. Earl, despite being a registered sex offender, had every right to be out there filming the police. He didn't have any right to sexually assault his daughters, but he had every right to film the police. I have stated that, and I will maintain that. Just because you have a criminal record doesn't mean that you can't film the police. I don't think it's a good idea, if you're trying to secure rights, to go into places and try to audit them and try to become the face, the godfather of auditing, because, well, if you're a convicted felon, I mean, it just looks bad. You're not going to get public support. We still need public support. Anyway, thanks for watching. I've rambled long enough. Have a great morning.